Hola, welcome to Spain. How are you doing, Tanya?
I'm doing okay. I'm only laughing because your energy level is like up, and I'm like, okay, do I need to match this? You need to come down a little bit, and I'll come up a little bit.
You come up a little bit. Can I just say that part of the reason why I'm laughing is I think the audience should know sometimes that this we are people doing a show. It's the two of us, and we are re-recording this episode, and because we have just spent the last half an hour talking this episode and realized we didn't press record. So just so you know,
Yeah,
you are in a
fun
live
times,
blooper moment.
right? But there was no recording of our blooper,
No, there isn't.
so we're
But
doing
I
it
want you to
all
know, I think
again.
it's important for us to share that we're human and we make mistakes.
Do we really need to share that we're quite stupid?
No, I think that's been figured out early on. But you, I'm sure, have an Spain for us.
I do have an R Spain. Let me explain it again.
Okay.
So actually, no, I do love this because I was having a lovely outdoor Spanish tapas lunch with some friends out, and it was lovely. I mean, we're in the middle of November. It was outdoor eating. It was delightful. This is what we moved here
Hmm.
for. Part of it, right, was
Right.
this weather, and we've talked about how the weather kind of drops, but we've been having some really nice. It's cold at night now, and it's getting warmer by the time you're getting to lunchtime. Delightful. We're outside. All the food's on the table.
Right.
Flies and wasps everywhere,
Everywhere.
everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, just so many, and it's like, ugh, I just, it takes the fun out of it for sure for me.
Hmm.
And you can't have one of those net things on everything. I mean, you just
No.
want to eat and have the food out, right?
Right.
So there was a one of
And you
us.
also don't want them buzzing in your ear and around your face
Uh,
and swatting yourself
I
all the time. It gets
know.
annoying.
And you're trying to have conversations and have a nice time and relax, and that's not relaxing. So a Spanish friend said something about figures of eight and paper, and she went off and back into the house, and I was like, okay, she must be folding up paper or doing something so that the flies get trapped in it, or there's some kind of trap happening.
Okay, she was
There's
gonna do some
I
origami,
think
some
so. That's what was going through my. It's got to be complex. I mean, it can't be
right,
simple because if it was simple, everyone would be doing it, right?
right.
She comes out with a piece of white paper with a in a black pen. She's just scribbled figures of eight all over it and
Okay.
puts it down in the middle of the table. And within about 30 seconds, all the flies and wasps are gone. And then
Okay,
we,
so I'm gonna call BS on this one. I'm not disbelieving you, but it sounds not real and possible. So,
I would have thought this was some crazy thing if I had not sat and seen it. We had
mhm,
the odd fly that came back and tried, but then went away. I mean, it went from inundated to like doable, right? And we just
right.
had like one fly here and there. But then when they saw that thing, it messes with their brain or something. I don't know. I haven't actually looked up, which I should have before this. I haven't looked up what it's actually doing, but apparently it's doing something with their brain they don't like,
Well,
and they go
don't
away.
flies have like a million like pixelated eyeballs where they see a
Yeah,
bunch of things? So maybe that looks like a predator to them. So like maybe
maybe.
their eyes pick up the shape. Because isn't there something that people do where they put like hang bags of like water, like cellophane bags of water? Have you ever see that in the South and Southern United States? They'll have bags of like Ziploc bags of water hanging from their
So
front
I've
porch.
seen that here. The water here that people use is supposed to, the cats don't like it. I don't know if that's
Really?
also for like bottles of water. I've seen people use it. I
Hmm.
don't know if it works. We should probably try it so we don't get more cats.
Oh, come on. You love all the
Get
cats
away
you
from
have.
us. Get away from us. Anyway, it worked. I did post on our YouTube account and on Instagram and Facebook a video of this piece of paper. And I didn't do it before and after, but you can see the piece of paper and what it looked like. And I swear it worked. And I mean, I'm with you. I need to do it more times, but it worked. I can't explain it. And it was amazing. It was like
I
magic.
think she put an open can of tuna in the corner of the yard while she went to go look for this paper and pen,
That would have
and
been
then came back
clever.
and was like, "See how it's working."
Although the dogs might have gone crazy for that, I think that would have been hard to do. But yeah,
True,
very
true.
possible. That might be another thing you can do to get the flies away from you. But
Well, I have a I mean, I would like to know if she's just she has in her mind that she's taught all these people that, and now she's laughing, knowing all these people are going to take this hack to other parties, and
right,
it's not going to
and
work.
it's
And
not
she's
gonna
like,
work.
ah.
I am definitely gonna try this again, and I will report back. How's that?
Okay, please do with videos, please.
No, it was absolutely bananas. I have never seen anything that simple. And The reason I kind of love it was I do think that the Spanish are a little bit more embedded in sort of what we would call old wives' tales. That they always work these things. It's like the
Right, right,
natural, basic way to do things that people did 1,000 years ago that we stopped doing because we got some special company made some spray or something. But really,
right.
the apple cider vinegar or whatever totally does the job, right? So I love this kind of thing. So I will be
Well,
trying that
I'm
again.
thinking we should go into the tablecloths with figure eight designs on them and go
Yes.
on Shark Tank and like be billionaires.
Right?
But our idea has gone to everyone. It's in
Now
the
you've
public
told
domain.
everybody. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. That was our idea.
Absolutely. Well, this brings us into our episode about the wild animals of Spain. So
Yes,
we will not be talking about flies and
we
wasps
will
again,
not.
but we have much more interesting animals to talk about.
And I will say, before I moved here, I when I had exhausted all the research that I needed to do on the how and why, where, what
Hmm.
I needed to move here, and now I was just biding time until dates approached.
Yeah.
But I still was very excited and need to be voracious in my learning about Spain. One of the things I went to is, what are the predators of Spain? What are the things I need to worry about? What are the cute
Yeah.
and furry animals? It was just one of those bored things. So it's kind of fun that we're doing this because it was something I had researched or I had looked into before. I got into a Wikipedia hole in my
Okay. I
past,
love
you
that
know?
you did that because I was, from England, we don't really have anything in England dangerous that's going to kill you in the animal region. And I just assumed, and most of the places I've been to in Europe, I don't remember there being anything
Hmm.
like that. So I just kind of skipped that whole thing. And I've had a few surprises.
And I was
So
still living in LA where we have mountain lions and
yes.
coyotes and
Yeah.
deers aren't killers, but we have, but
Rattlesnakes.
you don't want an outdoor cat in LA, and
No.
you have to be careful, if you and they're right next to you, right? You can go
Hmm.
hiking just outside your house and a mountain lion's going to come to you, and especially if they're
Yeah.
sick, they might attack you or your animal, right?
Definitely
So
heard some stories, and I've seen some rattlesnakes up in the Santa Monica Mountains. I saw a deer up there as well. I mean, I've seen some good wildlife up there. Never
right,
saw a mountain lion, thank goodness, but that's that they're up there. So,
right.
yeah. Definitely, definitely bad. Yeah.
But so here we don't have, especially around here, we don't have anything that's going to come kill us. We do have something dangerous, what we'll get to later, but let's start with the Iberian wolf.
Absolutely. And I love wolves. They're so cute. They
They
really
are
are.
cute,
I
but
do
I don't think your
not want to.
animals would like a wolf.
No, and I don't want to be near one, but the
Right.
pictures of them are cute.
Right.
And luckily, they are not in this area. So we have quite a diverse wildlife in the Sierra Calderona Mountains, which are right here. But
Mhm.
the Iberian wolves, are found up in the northwest, Castilla y Leon and Galicia, Asturias, so that kind of areas, which makes
Mhm.
sense. I mean, there's just much more forest
It's
and
and
up
it's
there,
winter. I
and it's
mean, wolves
winter.
like snow and
Yeah,
cold. They've got those thick coats, I would
yeah.
think.
Absolutely. And they're a smaller like subspecies of the European wolf, and they have a reddish tinge and white markings. And they are, which surprises me a lot, at how many places, and I won't get into the ones that I know, where they are protecting wolves, because I know that
Mhm.
they're so dangerous for farmers and they're eating and, being destructive for people's businesses, but they are quite heavily protected in a lot of different areas, especially here as
Right.
well.
Well, I think
So
they were also near extinction in so many places too, so they had to protect them. And people were on board because we want to bring our wildlife back. But then the
yeah.
farmers are like, "Yeah, but I've lost 75
Right. Well, I
sheep
was going to
this
say,
year."
you say obviously, but it's like if you're a farmer, you're like, yeah, let it go extinct. Like
Right.
I don't need a wolf out there. So, I think that's a lot of contention, and I can definitely see both sides of that. So, yeah. But they are
Well, can't
here.
the farmers also come up with better fencing? I'm just gonna say, can't
That's
they?
expensive. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
you can
guess,
just
but
have your animals
still.
out and not have to worry about wolves and mountain lions and things, I mean, that's definitely a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what else do we have here?
We got a brown bear. We got we got
Yeah.
some bears. We got some.
Which I hope never
Uh,
to see.
but bears are so cute. I mean, I love seeing them in the zoo. I mean, I know they can be very. They can
Hmm.
hurt you. Um,
We haven't promoted the zoo here for a while, so let me just put that in here. Please go to the biopark that we have in Valencia. It is a beautiful zoo. I
but I don't
love
think
it.
they have bears there because
I
it's all
don't
North
No,
African
I mean just like in
animals.
general, since
Yeah.
we're talking about animals, it is one of my favorite places to go wander around. It's a beautiful zoo.
I have to agree. And you know what? I'm thinking of things I can do while my kids are at school. And I could still go to the zoo by myself
Absolutely.
one day
Or I
with a
could come
book
with
and
you.
just sit. I said by myself.
Ah, okay.
Um,
By by yourself with me.
With you, yeah. But the bears, there's some interesting things about the bears, but there's only about 400 in Spain right now, and they're in the Cantabrian and the Pyrenees Mountains. That's where they are. So they're not down here, and the population's growing and stuff. But what I find so interesting about this is that Spain is one of the few Western European countries that have wild bears. Like Germany and Switzerland, no. Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, Denmark, the
Hmm.
UK doesn't surprise me. That's an island, but they don't have them. Portugal, Switzerland, Germany have them when they're coming for vacation. They're walking in
Right?
from Italy, France, or Spain,
But they don't
and
understand borders. Why aren't they just everywhere by now? Right?
exactly, which I
Yeah.
don't get. And you think about the Grimm's fairy tales and Three Little Bears and all
Hmm.
these things. You'd think they're there, and they were there. They went extinct, but they
Oh.
haven't tried to repopulate their areas. But other
I
countries
mean,
have.
bears are cute, but I don't want to come across them. If I can hike in some beautiful mountain area, wooded area without worrying about coming across bears, I'm kind of happy.
It's just all about you in this scenario, isn't
It is.
it?
This might be how they got extinct. They just pushed them over the border into
Right.
Italy. They're like, you have them.
Right. You take them.
You
You
take
take
them.
them. But
Yeah.
it was surprising me, and I'm glad we have them in
Yeah.
Spain. And I will agree, I'm glad they're not here. Not that I'm doing all this hiking around here, but
I mean, they are cute. Yeah. I love it. So the other another animal that we have is a lynx, and of
the
course
Iberian
it's
lynx, because there
Iberian.
are different
There
lynxes
are.
around the world.
There are. So an Iberian lynx, those are so cute. So cute. And they are native to the southern part of Spain, around
Hmm.
Andalusia, in the Doñana National Park and the Sierra de Andújar.
Andujar.
Andújar, sorry.
Andujar.
Sierra
Yeah.
de Andújar. So I saw an article I don't know, maybe 6 months or a year ago, where they had found a farmer had found some lynx cubs. I suppose they're called cubs, like in their like barn. And it was this
Hmm.
whole article was about just the fact that these cubs had been found, and it was like they were so excited because they have been endangered, and they are endangered because there were fewer than 100 like 20 years ago, and now they're up to like 1600. And I think the fact that they had just randomly had cubs in some farmer's barn was like a really big deal, right? Because
Right.
that just meant they were around and about really at that point. So that was a really big deal, and they're so cute. They've got the little spotted coat and the little tuft ears. I mean, they're just
They're
adorable.
very furry and cute.
Yeah.
And I do have to make a small minor correction. They're not cubs. They are still called
Oh,
kittens
they're so cool, kittens.
or
Oh,
kits. Yeah, yeah,
did you
yeah.
look that up on Google?
I just totally did it right now. Yeah.
That makes
Stop.
sense.
That it took me so long to
I
correct you.
know. No, I'm just like, we're being open on this episode about all our little, failings.
Our
So
behind the scenes
totally.
moments.
So kittens, that's so cute. Well, that makes sense actually. I mean, and they must be adorable. They must be adorable little kittens.
But they're not friendly. I mean, they are predators. They
No,
eat rabbits and other things. I'm sure they'll probably come after a small dog if it's out
I
at
would
night or
imagine.
something like
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, don't do that.
don't do that.
I mean, there are not enough of them, I think, for you to run into one. I wouldn't imagine, but that,
Right. And and they were, especially in like the 70s and 80s, a big part of the fur coat
yeah, I
industry
can
that was
see that
like,
that would be, yeah.
yeah, so
Mm.
that reduced their numbers a lot, as well as like habitat loss and
Mm-hmm.
those things with
Yeah.
the way the world is going.
Oh
You
dear.
know what I mean?
Okay, other animals. We have more.
We have more. I'm not going to mention this one. I mean, I'll mention it. I am mentioning it. We're not going to expound upon it, which are bats, because we just did a Poco a couple of weeks
Yes.
ago about all the bats in Valencia, which are throughout Spain
Yes.
as well, right?
So that's a whole episode you can go listen to if you want to learn about bats and why they're so special to the Valencia area and all the different varieties we have. But we do have deer. We
We
have
do.
red deer and roe deer, and the roe deer are the ones that are more common in the forests and national parks, and those are the ones that I've seen. Funnily enough, I saw one like on a road, sort of kind of quite far down from our house, and then I never saw a deer again after that. And I've hiked up in the mountains. I don't go that deep in, but I mean, I'm kind of surprised that I saw that one and I haven't seen more. kind of
Well,
around and about?
deer are very skittish, and they
Yeah.
like any like snap of a twig and they take off, right? I
Yeah.
saw Bambi,
Me
you saw
too.
it,
Yep.
and but I grew up for a time in Indiana and in South Jersey, and in the states in the country and stuff, your house is in the middle of the wood and the forest, and we'd have deer all the time, but you'd put a salt lick out, maybe
Mm,
100 feet from the house, and sit at your breakfast table, and you would see the deer come and eat. So we had more exposure to them because we were in that country, and you didn't have walls around your house
right,
here. Like
right.
it seems like in Spain, everywhere is a wall around your house, unless maybe you live in a farmhouse somewhere
Yeah.
where
Okay,
you got
tangent
a
for
lot of
those that
land.
aren't from the middle of nowhere in America. Is a salt lick literally a stick of salt that they come and lick, or is it something
It's a
else?
big square. It's a big square, like a cubic foot
Hmm.
type thing. It's like a foot by a foot by a foot,
Okay.
and yeah,
Just
and it's just
salt.
salt, and you put it in the middle of the
Is that
forest,
good
and
for
they
them?
come.
What are they
Yeah,
like? What?
yeah.
Okay, that's a whole other discussion.
We all need salt. If we didn't have salt, we
They're
die.
not getting
We
it
all.
from their food, I guess.
It's something they crave
That's
and they
something they
like.
like. Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
so that way you can bring the animals closer to you, the ones that are friendly anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the wild boar, which I have only seen a dead one that was absolutely enormous, but they are in the mountains here in Valencia, and I've seen the damage that they make in the ground when we walk around and go
Mm-hmm.
on little hikes and stuff. I think I've mentioned before that Blaze, I think, has smelt them and was like, not going down that road anymore.
I mean, they're mean
I think they
predators. I
would be. I
mean,
don't think
yeah,
I would want to come across one. They're kind of nocturnal too, I think. So I'm not sure you're gonna really come across one like like all the time, but obviously you could get
right.
unlucky. I would not be happy if I saw one. And I certainly wouldn't be happy if I saw one with Blaze with me as well.
And especially if there's one with babies, the mother's
Oh
gonna wake
yeah.
up at any time and
Right.
charge you and all that. So be
Yeah.
careful of boars, wild boars.
Yeah.
Don't want
So we
those.
do have a lot of those, and yeah, we now there are signs up and down the roads with careful of the wild boar, because yeah, you do not want to hit one of those in your car for
No,
sure.
your car will be totaled
You
too,
Yeah,
right?
for
It's
sure.
be
Be
careful.
careful. Be very careful. Yes.
Now, the next one I've seen in zoos, and I love them. And I grew up, I say I grew up all over the country, so it's like
So
it's
you've
crazy.
seen it
But
all.
when I was in high school in Vegas, when Vegas was a tiny little town, and you could
Mm-hmm.
drive out to like Boulder Dam, and when you're driving through the mountains, you would see mountain goats
Oh, okay.
all the time, just like perched on every little crag and nook
Mm-hmm.
on the mountains with the big
So
horns and
cute.
all that.
Yeah.
And here we have ibexes, and they're up in the Sierra Nevadas, which is in the south, and in the Pyrenees. They're in the different mountain regions here, and I would love to see one in the wild, which because they
Goats are
are so majestic
They
to
are,
me.
but goats can be also vicious,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
really vicious.
yeah.
And we have on the farm road that we take out to get into town and stuff. There's a farm that has a couple of goats, like just that are right up against the road. So we always take that road to see the goats there. They're not the wild Spanish goats, but they are
Right.
cute. Goats are one of those animals to me that are like super cute, but I know I don't want to be anywhere near them.
So I have a funny baby goat story. Funny story about a goat from when I was a
Okay,
baby. That's okay.
that's not where I thought that was going.
So, and I have to find the picture because there is a picture. I have a trauma picture
Hmm.
of my youth at a petting zoo
Oh.
and me crying hysterically. Like
Oh.
I'm red faced, tears coming down. In the picture, there is a goat that has eaten through my mom's like tote bag and is sucking my bottle through the tote bag.
Oh
It's
my
like drinking like my high C or
god.
whatever
They're
was like I was
clever.
like two, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're very clever. Jawad got like attacked by one that he had. Yeah,
Really?
when we went to one of the farms when we had our business in the States, and we went to one of the farms and they had a bunch of goats, and they didn't they were not interested in him being in that field at all. So we were laughing. I don't think he found it as funny as we did. But
No, but
it has kind of made me feel that goats are maybe not the friendliest.
right, but they are so
They
cute.
are very cute. Yeah, especially in the petting zoos.
Yes. Just don't have your baby's bottle
No,
with you.
definitely not. We also have something called, which I was not really familiar with, Jeanette. Is that what we're calling it? A Jeanette? Gannett?
Janet, I think
Janet.
is how it's pronounced. Yeah, I think
This
so. Yeah.
looks like a cross between a cat and a lynx and I don't know, something longer, and like you took it and
Like
stretched
a
it a little.
Like a mink or an otter.
Yeah.
It's like a cat otter looking
But
thing,
definitely
right?
it's walking around more like a cat than an otter. I think it's got a cat-like body. It's got shorter legs. It's got a long spotted or striped tail, and they do resemble the cats. And I do think Gerard saw one in our urbanization one because he comes back. He's like, I saw this thing. He thought it was a cat, but it wasn't. And I think that's what it was because they look a
Hmm.
lot more like cats than lynxes do because of the ears.
And they also, their spotting is like a tabby cat, where it's
Yeah,
a short
yeah,
hair fur too. So I mean,
exactly.
if you saw one in passing, it would definitely look like a tabby
And I
cat
think
running by
they're
really
probably a
quickly.
little bit bigger than a cat, maybe, but not like
I think so.
tremendously. Like not so much that you're like, oh my god, I just saw a mountain lion, right? Like it's still
No,
a cat-ish thing. So
right.
they're wild here, and I think, like I said, I think Jawad might have seen one, but I've never seen one
Right.
before, and they're native to Africa and Spain, and parts of Europe, so they're kind of in a lot of different places as well.
And they eat like small animals and insects. So they're not coming after your dog or your cat. They're coming after your like pet
And you're
lizards, I
maybe
hope.
you do
Right.
you think they'd come after your bunny rabbit? Who knows?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm hoping they're eating mosquitoes because the more animals that eat mosquitoes, the better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you imagine if we didn't have these animals eating mosquitoes? Because we got so many as it is to begin
I
with.
don't think the mosquitoes would ever stop breeding, so that would be horrendous.
Right. And then we also have things besides lynx. We have other wildcats, mongooses, foxes, badgers. You've seen
Foxes are
foxes,
cute.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Or have you seen them in your hood? I mean, I feel like one of my kids said they saw one on one of their hikes with their school
Yeah, I mean
that they
foxes
went.
again, they kind of come around. They're not as scared of humans, I think, as some of these other animals. I have not seen a badger. I was surprised to see that on the list here for the
Hmm.
Calderona Mountains. But I know that people have seen foxes in our area. I just haven't personally. But the badgers, I would be interested to see like kind of where they're living because I definitely haven't seen those, and I haven't heard of anyone seeing those. But you know, the internet says they're here, so they must
That's
be,
what the internet says.
and they are cute.
And now in the Canary Islands, they have animals that aren't here, like the shrew
Hmm.
and giant lizards. So
Yeah,
they're doing their Darwinian selective breeding evolution thing there, and they haven't swam the seas
right.
to the
That could be a whole
mainland.
poco just the Canary Islands
Yes.
wildlife, I
So
would
we
imagine.
won't delve too deeply, otherwise we're
No,
giving away another episode.
absolutely. And of course, like like everywhere, we have a lot of birds of prey. Um, There is a Spanish imperial eagle, which is also endangered, and that is mostly found in central and southwestern Spain. And I have seen I will be honest, I am not a bird watcher. I don't know what birds
Mhm.
I've seen. I've definitely seen birds of prey flying around like in
Right.
the mountains and in different places. So
I've seen them in the city too. I mean, I see them up in the sky with their wide wings
yeah,
circling
they're always
about. You know what I
beautiful.
mean?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
always a bit jealous of people that really know about these things. As I think I wouldn't know what they are, but we do have golden eagles, booted eagles, buzzards, obviously, and a bunch of
Hmm.
different vultures. So yeah,
Three. I mean, Egyptian. I mean, there are. I don't know. There's not this many
no, me
vultures, but
either.
there's a griffin vulture, black vulture, Egyptian vultures.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you hang out by the carcasses of a dead wild boar, maybe eventually you'll see a buzzard and a
Maybe.
vulture come down, right?
Yes. And specifically in the Sierra Calderona Mountains, we have the Bonelli eagle and the peregrine falcon. So I suppose maybe what I've seen is one of those, possibly.
Right. Oh, could we take up falconry here? Could we
I'm
become
sure you could.
falconers?
That's I
Oh,
think.
that maybe that should be my
Oh my
hobby as my
god.
kids leave me for
I think
college.
that would be a full-time job, I think, to
Oh, that'd
train.
be cool. Get one of those big leather gloves and the mitts,
So I
that they
was at
do.
one of those medieval fairs where there was somebody
Hmm.
doing that, and it is really cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you can
yeah.
do that here. Good luck. Have fun.
Okay, I'm on it. Did we talk about falconry before?
No,
We
no.
haven't. I feel like I went down that rabbit hole with someone in my life. I thought it was you in Spain, but maybe it
Well, if
wasn't.
it was me, I wasn't listening, which is very possible.
Ooh, snap.
That sounds like fun for you.
Well, Spain is a peninsula,
Hmm.
right? And we were jutting out between, the continents and islands. So we do have we have wetlands and migratory birds, and we are a stopping zone, not just for Brits and Norwegians trying to escape the
No,
winter.
also the birds.
Their birds are too.
Exactly.
Do you want to list some of those, young
Yes,
lady?
we have herons and storks and spoonbills. And also, we've all seen the flamingos, which is awesome. So,
Right.
there's a big area south of Valencia here in the Albufera Lagoon where you can go and see the flamingos. And also, they also breed in the Fuente de Piedra Lagoon in Malaga. And I will say we do have a bit of a wetland bird watching area. There's two that I've seen. One is north of,
Hmm.
like, right on the beach, north of Sagunto, and south of, one is north of Sagunto, the other one is south of Puthol beach, and they
Okay.
have this whole wetland area, no dogs allowed. They even have little huts that you can sit
Oh, like
in.
little
The
hideouts so
little
you can be
hideouts,
quiet and wait
yeah.
for the birds to come,
To
and
me,
if someone
to me,
talks,
it
you can
looks
yell at
like
them.
a hideout where you would go shoot like the birds, but I
Right.
think I am assuming it's not for that. I'm assuming it's for bird watching.
Well, I would hope not.
But they kind of, those things look the same. So,
Right,
and
yes.
anyway, so there's these huge wetlands, and I think if you do love to bird watch, that would probably be quite a spectacular spot to do that.
And now, when we came to visit a year before we moved here,
Mm-hmm.
we were staying in an Airbnb, and it was on the eighth floor of a building in the city
Okay.
center. And my youngest, Paloma, is a lizard whisperer. So wherever we go, lizards will come to her and like climb on her body when most
Oh,
people lizards run away from.
right.
She will collect them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in California, we'd be on vacation. She'd have a whole shoebox full of
Oh my god. So they
lizards.
actually
Don't
come
ask
to
me
her
how.
and go on her. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
she can carry them around the house. It's insane. But we were at the eighth floor, and she comes out from the kitchen, and she's like, "Here, Dad, look what I found." There's a lizard in her hand. I'm like,
Oh.
"Well," and she's like, "Wait, yeah, just climb through the window." So there are lizards throughout this city and throughout everywhere, but they climb tall buildings. They are like
Well, they are
Spider-Man.
called the Iberian wool lizard, so maybe that's why.
Oh, well, that would make sense. Well, I
That's
guess
one
that would
of the
work.
ones we have
That's
here.
one of
Yes,
them.
that's
Yeah,
one of them. We also have the ocellated lizard, which is the European's largest lizard, and the Moorish gecko. And we also, I think, probably the Iberian wool lizard is what we have a lot of in the house. And
probably, yeah. And geckos, because geckos got the sticky feet, and they are on
yeah,
ceilings and all that stuff,
but
you know?
they
And
are, I mean, they are everywhere, but you're right, they are not coming to us to like hang out. They're like scurrying away. Also, because we
right.
have cats, unfortunately we have quite a few that are missing a tail, which they can do and still run off.
Yes, because they can
Oh,
regrow
the first
those.
time
Yeah.
I saw that, I was like, oh my god, it's killed the lizard. And then the lizard just ran off, and the cat had the tail that was still going, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't, no. So that's our life in a house with a bunch of cats, and I don't appreciate that part of what they do, but there you go.
And if you don't believe that we have lizards here, you can go to any gift
Oh
shop,
yes.
and one of the one of the main things, like if you want a magnet, your three choices are a dish of paella, a symbol of the Valencia CF football club,
With the bat.
or with a bat, or a
Yes,
lizard. Those are
those
the
are your
main three
basic
magnet
three.
designs you're gonna
You will
find.
find lots of beautiful like lizard decoration things that are like mosaicked, that's kind of the
Hmm.
thing, and they're beautiful. But yeah, lizards everywhere, these little ones, these little geckos. They're adorable.
Hmm. Hmm.
We
And they're on the other islands too. They're out there in the Mediterranean
yeah,
too. So
but it does seem to be
they're
an icon of this area specifically as well.
yes,
So I don't
for
know if we just
sure.
have more of them, or maybe who knows.
Oh, we ran out of ideas of things to sell, what to
Maybe.
put on things to sell.
Maybe. I don't really want to talk about snakes. We have a few. I've never seen one. One of my neighbors showed me very proudly a snake skin, and I was like, did not need to see that because that means there's snakes around here. And I that's
Like, did she like find it in her
mm-hmm,
garden? Like it had molted,
mm-hmm,
and she was
yeah,
like, "I'm gonna make some boots
and
out of
was
this."
like
Or
super excited to share that with me. And I thought, you don't know me at all.
I like you, do not like snakes.
Hmm.
And when a few years ago, 2016, I want to say it was. Oh my god, that's almost 10 years ago. I took my girls to visit their grandpa in Florida, and we went to one of the most rundown roadside zoo sad
Okay.
things, but it was a rehabilitation place too, so they had like little baby
Oh,
gators and
cute. Okay.
snakes, and there was a petting portion where you're in there, and then they bring out the baby gator, and they're like, you can pet the gator, and I was like, oh, I can pet the gator because they had the mouth like rubber
Oh,
banded shut.
yeah.
But then they brought out the snakes, and I was like, oh no, and I
You're like, no,
cringed
thank you.
and convulsed, and my daughters still bring that up today, and like basically calling me a wimp, and they're like, remember when Daddy got all scared when they brought out the snake and wouldn't
Of
pet it, and
course,
I'm like,
right? So we
yeah.
have something called a Montpellier snake. I think we have, I don't know what breed they are. I mean, I was described like garden snakes, and we have some Lataste viper. So that's the only venomous snake that's on mainland Spain. But you don't hear a lot about people getting bitten by snakes here, and I don't think that
Right.
that's even something that would kill you. It might just make you very sick. You just need to get somewhere.
I think that might have been what got me on the whole wildlife tangent
Mm-hmm.
when I first started on the couch. Was like, what are the poisonous snakes? Like, what do I need to worry about in case we
Right,
do move to the
right, right,
mountains
right.
or somewhere, right? And I was happy to hear that poisonous snakes were not a thing, right? There's this
Right,
one, but it's not like we had said, like rattlesnakes are all over
right.
America, right? Like there are
I mean,
poisonous
I
snakes
was like
that can get you.
again up in the mountains hiking off of LA, and definitely rattlesnakes, found them, seen them. Yeah, don't want to be near them.
There wasn't a baby with a rattle in the bush when you heard that
Ugh,
noise. No, there wasn't.
so
No, no.
so we can skip to marine life a little bit, which I think if you heard, I think it was one of my Spains that we were paddleboarding and jumped and found just a ton of
You had
jellyfish.
your you had your
Ugh,
Finding
I
Nemo moment
did.
when the jellyfish field, and you're like, if you touch the top, we're
It's
okay,
fine,
right?
but don't touch the bottom. I'm like, I don't want to touch any part of it. Anyway, so we do have jellyfish, so we won't get into that again. And they're not dangerous. I mean, they might, some of them might sting, but that they generally have sort of, you can, there are apps where you can see when, because they come and go. They're not in the
They
water
come
around
and
all the
go.
time.
But I've seen them swimming when we've been in the ocean here. You're like looking down, and you're like, oh, there's a
Hmm.
jellyfish. I mean, they are pretty common here, for it's because the water's pretty warm. It's very
Yeah, it is
habitable
very habitable.
for
Yeah, that's true.
jellyfish. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got our other little, fishies and
Hmm.
things. We've got our sperm whales and dolphins, and there's even
Hmm.
orcapods near the Straits of Gibraltar. So we have those things. There's even sharks in the Mediterranean, which I don't like to think
No,
about.
some
And
sightings around and about. Again, things are getting a bit warmer, maybe. Doesn't feel like that at all
mhm.
times of year. But they are out and about, but I don't think that's really a concern that anyone's really worried about, per se.
And I haven't seen any sea turtles here, but supposedly they nest on some Spanish beaches. Have you heard that
I
or
have
seen
not seen it,
anything?
and also I've heard of it. So I'm wondering if that's something that maybe, again, it's not common that you see them, but they must be. Yeah, for
Or
sure.
they're being like re-energized, the population's maybe building in. Who
Yeah.
knows? We have humans have done a lot of bad things to animals over the
Mm-hmm.
years,
Absolutely. And we have monk seals that are reappearing, and I mean, things are constantly evolving. So, it's like some things they're coming and they're going, and the climates are changing, and this, so you just have to, see what's around when where in whatever
Hmm.
part of Spain you might land in, but nothing too dangerous. And I think if we're going to talk about since we were just talking about sort of dangerous things, I do want to
Hmm.
mention the procession caterpillars.
Which I will say that was the thing that surprised. This is the thing when I was sitting on the couch of the poisonous things that you have to be worried about. This scared the bejesus out
Hmm.
of me because it seems like something you cannot avoid. So please
It
explain to the
is.
people what this horrible thing from Satan
It
is.
is from Satan, and I don't understand why it exists. And so the processionary caterpillars, you are absolutely right. They are. I was shocked. I didn't really know about this until I got a dog. I hadn't, because they are poisonous to animals mostly,
And
and
babies and
babies and
small
small children.
children.
They're not. It's not going to be something. It's just depends on how big you are, right? So they will give you anaphylactic shock, and you will die if you're a small
Hmm.
animal of some sort, or like you said, a small baby.
Because I think they also breathe them in, right? It's the
They have
hairs
these,
that
yeah.
have the
So they have
poison,
these
right?
little. They're very they don't look that cute, but they're kind of furry, and these little hairs will get on. So what you want, like a dog is going to sniff them. They're going to get all these little hairs poked into their nose. So one of the things
Hmm.
that the vet had said was if you don't want to brush them, right? You just want to wash, you
Okay.
want to rinse them off. You don't want to be brushing them because you don't want to stick those things further into their skin,
Deeper
right?
in. Gotcha.
So
Uh-huh.
these nasty things are in pine trees, and the whole Sierra Calderon Mountains, it's all pine trees. So, and we
Mhm.
had pine trees in our garden as well. And what they do is the moth will, this is what makes it very difficult to control them, I think. The moth flies up and it lays its eggs in the top, of course, the very, very top of a pine tree, right? That you can't get to.
Mhm.
And then you'll start to see these kind of nests grow, and they look like just white kind of puffballs, kind of that you, so you can,
Are they big, like the size of a baseball? Bigger than
they're
that? Smaller than
probably
that?
between a baseball and a, I mean, around a baseball, maybe like a large grapefruit, kind of, maybe a little bit bigger than a
Okay.
baseball, maybe between a base. They can be small and then and then get a bit bigger to like a large grapefruit sort of size. And you can see on the pine trees these little tufts of white fluffiness starting to arise, and those are procession caterpillar nests. And what you want to do is get rid of them before they hatch and come out of those things. So once
Mhm.
they come out in the spring, which, I mean, I've definitely talked about this before, but it's like I don't walk Blaze up in the mountains between, I don't know, February all the way till April. Sort of, I mean, it's a big window of, depending on the weather, depending on
Mhm.
how warm it's been, obviously will affect when they're hatching and when they're
Coming
coming
down.
down. So once they start coming down the tree, then they're called processionary because they're all linked together and they just walk around, right? And
With a
oh
long line, right? They can be like
yeah,
many feet long
yeah,
or
they
for
can be
really
long,
long, right?
and that each one of them is maybe only, I don't know, 2 or 3 inches, but then they're all together, walking
Mhm.
together. So that's how you recognize them. They're furry and they're walking together, head to toe, right? Or head to
Mhm.
butt, whatever. And then they're walking around. I've seen a place where clearly one had fallen out of the tree and it was just a bunch of them. I mean, it's just, they're very dangerous. You don't want to be near them. What we would do with the help of our neighbor, who was so nice, was with extra long things, you cut them out of the tree, and then you
Mhm.
burn and kill those in a bag and throw them away. So you're basically
Right.
trying to kill them. You will see around in the city some, they put things around the trunk of the tree, which sort of can catch them if you're lucky when
Oh,
they're
when they're
coming
coming
down, so
down
they
like
end
a
up
little
in a bag and
yeah.
dying in a bag like there. And then, but I mean, it's something that I think is obviously very difficult to manage because they're just,
Mhm.
the moths are flying everywhere and laying their eggs, so you just can't, it's just really really hard. So you just have to be aware that that exists and not be taking your dog about. And if you live in an area that has pine trees around, if you just have a few pine trees, it's probably managed by the city and that's fine. But once you get up into the mountains, obviously that's unmanageable to a certain degree. But if you're in
Right,
like an
right.
urbanization that has a couple of pine trees, probably it's being taken care of. Or if you're really further and you're not even in the Sierra Calderon Mountains and you're in some place near the city, I'm sure they're checking the pine trees and that's fine. You've never seen them in the city, have you? By
No, but I've heard that they can be seen in the
Oh,
Turia
okay.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
It's a problem and it's here and there's not much you can do about it. I had the vet gave me a like an anti-inflammatory pill to have that I would
mhm.
carry on me just in case. And we have cats that's not, nothing's ever happened to the cats. I think cats are a little bit more discerning than dogs generally.
Cats are smarter,
They are.
not gonna lie.
They
I
can
know that
be,
as to be
dogs can
truth.
be really smart and also really stupid at the same time. So
Right.
anyway, that's the processionary caterpillars. We don't love them. We really rather hate them, and they're here, and it's weird.
And that's the thing to be
Yes,
scaredest of most, which is
it's a
surprising. It's a
caterpillar.
caterpillar, not.
On a
And
much
we do.
happier note, the dragonflies. I mean, we do love a dragonfly.
I've seen. I so dragonflies is. I will be honest, is one of my favorite insects. I just think they're the coolest things.
They are.
That it's a bird that's an
And they're
insect to
so
me. You know, like
cool.
they're so they
Yeah.
can be so
And
big
we had
and
a couple of
cool and the
dragonflies that lived
shapes.
near our pool and were always like fluttering around on the pool, and it was like that was wonderful. So
Hmm.
I love those, and we have quite a few of those. And I think lastly we'll do spiders. And I don't want to do spiders, so you start.
I do not like spiders. I'm not a huge thing, but I will say in in we've all gotten spider bites, but these are also like it's I feel like the spiders in our apartment, maybe we brought them from LA because they are like LA spiders where you wake up in the morning with 47 spider bites, but you
What?
never
I'm
saw
sorry.
one
I'm
spider in the
sorry.
house.
What? No, no. Are you sure they're not mosquitoes?
No, no, there's a difference between a spider bite and a mosquito bite. There are spider bites and there are mosquito bites, and the
Thanks
spider
for
bites will get you
clarifying.
in the middle of the night, and you know the
How do you
difference.
know the
And like LA
difference? I
was
mean,
one of
I
the
get bitten by mosquitoes all night.
no, there are
Okay.
spider bites. There's a
Okay, I
difference,
have
yeah.
not had that experience. I'm
Um,
getting bitten by mosquitoes. I can hear them. They're flying in my ear and then they're biting me all over. So I know that I'm getting. So I've never heard of this thing that where you're like getting spider bites.
and even in LA, you didn't
Mm-mm.
hear that about the spiders, like
No.
because the spiders will get you in LA because that's what because LA never had mosquitoes
All right, but I
until
never got
recently. So
spider bite then either. Are you breeding them in your
yeah.
apartments? What's going on?
No, it's a
Okay.
thing. Look it
Ugh.
up.
Okay.
Spiders in
Let's
LA.
not talk about that anymore. So anyway, in Valencia and Catalonia, we have the garden orb weaver spiders, crab spiders, and funnel web spiders. Now, if
What's a funnel web
oh
spider? Let's talk about fun
those, oh
things.
God, I don't even want to talk about this. We would find them in our pool, and they are horrible. They're actually, for me, I'm not a spider person. I mean, I can handle the tiny little ones. These are big, in my opinion. I mean, they're not tarantula big, but they're big, black with big black legs, and they can actually live underwater for a little bit. And we would find them in the pool. I'm not 100% sure that it's that, but I looked up the pictures and I was comparing, and it looked to me like that. And they
Okay.
are just
And they're like thick
yeah, no,
legged,
no,
right? It's not
no,
like a
no.
daddy long
Big
legs. It's
body,
like
thick legs.
it's a
No,
meaty. It's a
it
meaty
looks like
spider.
it's gonna grow
Okay.
into a tarantula. That's what it looks like, but it's not
Okay.
yet.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
So
Yeah.
those
Gross. No.
ones, nasty. So they're in forests and grasslands, and yeah, I mean, just everywhere that you would find a spider, I guess. And they are one of the largest European spiders. There you go. So it's up to maybe 3 centimeters. Yeah,
And their web is
a
then like a
funnel.
funnel.
Yeah, it's
Is
a
that the
funnel
thing?
shape.
And then the prey like the prey goes inside it?
Oh
Is that
God,
how
you
it
read it
catches?
because it just creeps me out. I don't even want to think about that we had those webs in our garden too. Oh my God.
Oh, well, yes. So it is a so I think or does the spider hang out in the web? I think maybe the spider
Okay.
hangs out in the web and then the prey attaches to it and then they probably bite it from the inside and suck it
Oh,
through. That's what
okay.
I'm
Well,
assuming of.
okay.
That seems
And
makes
also,
sense.
and it's shocking to me too, they are protected in Spain. It's because
Why?
of
Why?
illegal trafficking, and even spiders like this that are horrifying looking, they don't want them to die off because it's a species. So I don't get this because anyway, I don't get that, but they are they are protected.
Well, they must be eating
They must be
something
eating
that we
something
need to
good.
be
Or they no, because I
eating,
mean you just don't want
right?
them anyway. It's the only spider species in the European Union that has been granted protection status. And I think a lot of it has to do with illegal trafficking. So they are obviously spiders that are beautiful enough or whatever enough that they're exciting to be trafficked.
Right.
Go figure. I will never be
Weird.
buying a spider.
No, no, I
Why
don't
don't you
like
do
that.
Andalusia and Murcia?
Down there, they have black widows. They also have their own funnel web
Mm-hmm.
spiders, and then they have something called a wolf
Oh,
spider.
okay.
But I don't think it howls
Oh,
at night. I
so
don't
what
think it
is a
does
wolf
that.
spider?
They live in olive groves and the sandy
Mm,
soils and the dry, arid conditions. They're
I don't like it.
large, they're
Horrible.
hairy, and they're brown gray, but they're hunters, so they don't spin webs. They actively hunt their prey.
Oh, I actually wasn't. Okay, obviously, I don't do a lot of reading on spiders. I didn't know that was a thing. I honestly thought all spiders just had some sort of web that they caught things in.
Except the ones that bite us when we sleep.
You,
But yes,
I've never,
yes, my whole
I
family,
am never sleeping
my whole
again.
family. And they live in the ground, and the females even carry their egg sacs on them and their babies on their back. Like,
Oh,
how weird. But um
hmm.
fun fact, they are kind of like a tarantula.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of their scientific name. I'm not going to read the whole name because then I'll sound stupider than I am, and I try to
Yes, good
minimize
idea.
that. But tarantula, did you know this comes from Taranto, Italy?
No.
That's where that
Oh,
name comes
interesting. No, I
from.
had no idea. Well, they must have a lot of
Yeah.
spiders.
And
They
the
must
other
have a lot of
interesting thing
spiders
is
there.
we were looking at Taranto to move to before
Well,
we
there you
picked
might have found
Spain.
a lot of spiders. They must have a lot of spiders there if they
Right.
named literally tarantulas after. And I didn't know that Italy had tarantulas. Maybe
Or just the name.
maybe
Maybe
they
they
have a
have
type of
a
big
big,
spider.
big,
Yeah.
meaty.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the Basque Country and Galicia, we have a much like wetter climate. So we have the orb weavers and something called a sheet web spider. And those are small spiders, and they're known for building like flat horizontal sheet like obviously webs, which I think is very interesting. So all these different types of webs that the spiders weave, and then the spiders that don't. I'm actually learning something here that I never ever wanted to know, but that is the type. So that's sort of special to that region as well.
And the web though attaches to the ground and to like some like
Mm-hmm.
trees, branches of vegetation above, and then it waits on one side for the prey to get
And
caught in the
then
web
go
and then
get
sucks it through.
it.
Yeah.
And lastly, you do this one, the Canary Islands, we have the jumping spiders, which are found nowhere else in the world. So that's special.
Which is crazy. Wait, how could that be found
Because
nowhere
they're an
else in the
island.
world?
Yeah,
But
that's what the
anyway,
interesting thing.
well, I know, but these boats
I
carry
know.
things
So we're
everywhere.
back to wanting to do a poker about the Canary Islands for sure. They've got some very interesting things going on there.
We should do a
Mm-hmm.
Darwinian episode on
Yeah,
the Canary
absolutely.
Islands. But these are small spiders. They're everywhere from gardens and
Lovely.
windowsills, and just everywhere.
And
And
then
that's
they're
everywhere,
known for
right?
their
So
bouncy movements, hence the jumping spiders.
yeah, I'm good.
Should we end just with a brief, like, little area by area of what you might find generally in each of those things, and then just so we don't end on spiders?
We won't end on spiders, so we'll do a quick briefing of like what areas, and then maybe this will be an idea in the future. Maybe we'll do pocos on each
Yeah.
of these things if we can get to these places
Mm-hmm.
and see them up in
Exactly. So
person,
it's just a
right?
few. It's the Doñana National Park in Andalusia. Obviously, you'll find birds and the lynx that we talked about, and boar and deer. It's fun. That sounds my alley.
And Sierra de
Mm-hmm.
Andújar is the best place to see the Iberian lynx.
And there
So,
may be enough of them to see them there, I guess, if you're lucky.
right.
Because de Europa, they have wolves. So now we're getting into the wolves and the bears, chamois, and the vultures. That sounds too dangerous for me. So you do the next one.
Oh, sure. I get to do the next one with a word I can't pronounce, but I'm going to try it. Monfragui.
Monfragüe. Fagüe. I think it turns into kind of a
Fagüe?
W-ishy type situation. I'm not sure.
Sure, whatever. National park. I don't know why there's.
That seems like the place to look for birds.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
birder place. That's for
Mm-hmm.
birders. You got your predators and your hunties and hunted and all that. And we have talked about the
Mm-hmm.
Sierra Nevadas down in the Granada, Andalusia area. That's where you're going to find your mountain goaty type things, your ibexes, your and other
Yeah.
alpine type species.
And then the Pyrenees, as we mentioned, we have the bears and marmots and high mountain birds and all those things we were talking about. That would be also an exciting place for birds, I would imagine.
And marmots are so cute. Just gonna say.
Perfect. Well, that's everything and more than I wanted to know about the animals around here, and I will never sleep again.
That's all I know as well. So we hope you enjoyed our episode about the animals. And also stay tuned this week for our Poco, which we are talking about something that's more enjoyable. Cocas. And we will find out what a coca is on
Hint,
Thursday.
it's not an animal.
It's not an animal. And it's also not coconut. Hey, can't get enough of us? Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Ospain Podcast.
And on our website, ourspain.com, which we will be updating with exciting new things as we grow.
We would love for you to message us with any topics you would like to hear about.
See you next time.
Bye.